All right, so I'm going to be real with you here for a second. Typically, whenever I do an article, I have Jaboy Cam pre-read it to make sure it's like fit for stream, that it actually works out, that it's going to be, you know, not completely bizarre. Instead, I'm just going to raw dog this one because how could I not? Payments to a non-existent company? The Alex Jones agent. Funding for politics? Reliance on a single customer? And that's just for starters.
I'm animated. I'm alive. I like to fight, too.
Okay, this article was originally published in 2022 exclusively for subscribers of the Lunduk Journal. It is being republished now for free. Oh, nice. All right, Mozilla, the foundation behind Firefox web browser, is absolute mammoth with over $1 billion in assets. Where does that money come from? Where's it being spent? With Firefox market share in a nosedive, how is Mozilla reacting? Okay, the Lunduk Journal spent some time with Mozilla's financial disclosures and came away with some wild observations. Bizarre expenditures, including to companies that don't even seem to exist, political organizations with no relationship to Mozilla's core business. There's a lot here. Read to the end. It gets wild. Woo! What exactly is Mozilla? There seems to be a great deal of confusion about the organization Mozilla actually is. Many seem to be under the impression that it simply is a nonprofit focused on the development of Firefox. And while that is partially true, it is only a small part of a much bigger picture. By the way, just so everybody knows, Rust Foundation, that's all I'm going to say. What's going on here? At the top exists the Mozilla Foundation, a not-for-profit corporation that operates out of California. The Mozilla Foundation is the sole owner, 100%, for two for-profit corporations, Mozilla Corporation and Mozilla Technologies Corporation. Both the parent foundation and the wholly owned corporation are ran by the same CEO and executive chair, Mitchell Baker. Okay. The not-for-profit and for-profit aspects of Mozilla are so tightly intertwined that the auditor's report makes a point of calling the collective group of three organizations simply Mozilla, and the report on their finances as a single entity. Okay, that makes sense. It does sound very confusing. One other misconception may be that many have is Mozilla's primary focus is the development of Firefox web browser. That does not appear to be the case. There are three areas of focus according to the Mozilla Foundation. Rally citizens. Issues like privacy, trustworthy AI, and digital rights impact all of us who use the internet. Mozilla helps translate them into powerful, meaningful change. Connect leaders. We support activists and thought leaders shaping the future of our online lives. Shape the agenda. I mean, honestly, just reading this sounds like something you would see in Austin Powers. Okay, it's so on the nose. This literally just sounds like a plot line out of Austin Powers. Shape the agenda. We publish open source research and host global convenings to make ideas like trustworthy AI mainstream. We make the AI accessible. Rally citizens, connect leaders, shape the agenda. A strange set of areas to focus on, as you'll see, especially with I'm using Firefox right now. Oh no! One other item to remember as we go through these details. Firefox market share has been in a free fall for some time. Depending on the source, it fluctuates between 3 to 7% of the total web browser market. That's still really good. I mean, it's really hard to compete against Chrome because it's literally every browser is Chrome except for Firefox. You just like rip off the wall or you rip out, oh, what is this? The new IE? It's Chrome. What is that, Opera? Chrome! I guess Safari's the other one. Safari. Okay, Safari's JSC. You win. Safari. Anyways, how much money does Mozilla have? As of 2021, Mozilla, including the foundation, the wholly owned for-profit corporations, has a total asset of 1.1 billion USD. That's billion with a B. What is this? Some sort of Kellogg's cereal box? I don't know how to read nutrition facts in dollar amounts. This includes $400 million in cash. Overall assets jumped by roughly $200 million over the previous year. How do they make money? How do you make $200 million? Hey, y'all got $15 million of goodwill? I mean, if Mozilla gets $15 million of goodwill, you think I could at least get, like, say, $1 million of goodwill. Can I get a little bit of that? As you would expect with such numbers, Mozilla saw a significant increase in revenue in 2021, with over 100 million just to 600 million. Wow, that's a lot of revenue. Royalties. What are they royaltizing? Subscription and advertisement revenue. Other revenue, $450,000. Interest and dividend income. Wow, $5 million, $5.7 million. Wow, net realized, unrealized gains and losses. Okay. Contributions. Okay. Other income. Okay. Foreign currency exchange gain/loss. Oh, they actually made money on Forex? Nobody makes money on Forex. Net assets released from restrictions. What? All right. They've made they made some money. At the same time, as total revenue was skyrocketing, overall expenses went way down by roughly $100 million, with the deepest cuts being focused on software development. All right, software development, it's going down. Other programs, okay, it's going up a little bit. Management in general, going down. General funding, going down. I assume this is the current year. This is the previous year. I'm trying to understand this because it said software and engineering with the deepest cuts being focused here. So I assume this is previous year, current year, because that's the only one that kind of makes sense of deepest cuts, right? All right, so yeah, they've gone down. They've reduced their overhead by what appears to be $100 million as what's it called? As the article suggests. Okay, to put another way, if Mozilla stopped earning money today, it has enough assets to fund their current expenses for roughly 3 years, thanks in large part due to rising revenue with combined cutting software development work. Where does the money come from? If you look at the change in net assets chart above, you'll notice that the vast majority comes from royalties, all right, with advertising and subscriptions next, and then contributions next as the two largest line items. Okay, contributions is donations from people like you. Y'all are donating $7 million to a for-profit company? I mean, sorry, for definitely a nonprofit that happens to own 2 for-profit companies. Sorry, completely different. My bad on that one. All right, contributions is donations from people like you. Mozilla actively seeks donations because, as they put it, we rely on donations to carry out our mission. Okay, so you got $500 million in royalties, $56 million in subscriptions, and $7 million in donations. Okay, yeah, about 1.5%. 1.4%, 1.3%. Okay. It's worth noting that this statement is not true. We are proudly nonprofit, non-corporate, and non-compromised. Technically, they make all their money from royalties and advertisement, and they make a lot, and they're holding on to money. So for something to be considered a nonprofit, you're not allowed to have net assets at the end of the year, right? You have to be continuously ensuring that everything is either spent on employees or on improvements or something, right? You're not supposed to be gathering a large war chest of money, I believe, as part of the requirements of a 501(c). I'm not sure if they're a 501(c), but nonetheless, there's some sort of requirements about having net profit year over year. And so by the nonprofit owning 2 for-profit companies, is that how they get around that? Is this how Scientology got started? By the way, Mozilla is by far the most corporate place of all time. Mozilla is the only place that is as easily sue-heavy for using their trademark infringements as Oracle. I am not really sure what this statement means, but it can't be true. All right, Mozilla does not, in fact, rely on donations to carry out their mission. In fact, if you remove donations from their yearly revenue entirely, it would have no impact on Mozilla's ability to pay for any of their expenditures, and Mozilla could not pay more than a small fraction of their bills from yearly donations. This is all true. We saw from the reports, it's literally slightly over 1%. Since royalties make up such a large percentage of Mozilla revenue, let's drill into that a little bit. Royalties for what exactly? According to the Foundation's 2020 report, Mozilla provides Firefox web browser, which is a free and open source web browser initially developed by Mozilla Foundation and the corporation. Mozilla incorporates search engines of its customers as default status or an optional status available in the Firefox web browser. Mozilla generally receives royalties to a certain percentage of revenues earned by its customers through their search engines incorporated in the Firefox browser. Got it. Search engines. That's the cash cow. And with annual report is light on the details, it provides this key bit of information. Approximately 83 to 86% of Mozilla's revenues from customers with contracts were derived from one customer for the years ended in December 31st, 2021 and 2020, respectively. Receivables from that one customer represent 69 and 73% of December 31st, 2021 and 2020 outstanding receivables, respectively. I assume that one customer is Google? What's the one customer that's a large search engine? Bing. Everybody knew it was Bing. How did you not see this coming? Bingo! Just ask Jeeves already. In other words, the vast majority, roughly 70% of all Mozilla's yearly revenue comes from the default search engine placement of just one customer. In other words, or let's see, that customer, while not named in the report, is obviously Google and parent company Alphabet. Without that revenue, Mozilla could not continue to operate at their current level of expenditure without eating into their assets. How much does their leadership earn? While we're on the topic of expenditures, it's worth taking a small detour into the compensation of Mozilla leadership from the Mozilla Foundation form. Okay. Let's see. Got $750,000 plus $4.8 million bonus. What a bonus. Yeah, I'll like it. Okay, then here's all the other expenses. Man, VP of Global Programs, J. Bob, not getting those sweet bonuses. Where's the rest of the bonuses? I honestly just feel more bad about the rest of the senior leadership. Did none of them get it? Is it only because he's chairman that they have to report it? Is that why? No one else gets bonuses. My guess is it's because these all sound like E level. These are all E and D levels. Wow. And so my guess is they don't have to report these things publicly, right? Let's see. The head of Mozilla roughly earns $5.8 million during 2021. The rest of the executive team arranged more or less from $100 to $300K. Interesting to note that Mozilla CEO earned nearly as much as $5.6 million as Mozilla received donations, $7 million. Okay, that's a little bit connection jumpy, one could say, but interesting. Also interesting that, I'm just saying, also interesting that the CEO received a bonus of nearly $5 million, considering the precarious position that Mozilla is in, being dependent on a single client continuing to pay for their search engine placement. Unless there's a secret deal going on, that looks like a company teetering on the edge to me. I don't know if it's teetering on the edge. 3 to 7% of all traffic going through Google. I think Google is making more than enough money. That seems like a pretty reasonable trade-off. If you could have 3 to 7% of all internet traffic route through your search engine as Google, where you make a ton, you make your exclusive amount of money on ads, is that unreasonable? I wouldn't say that's unreasonable. I would say that that's fairly reasonable. Could we agree to that? It's about $5 a month, which is about the cost of one subscription on Twitch, Amazon Twitch. Strange to reward the CEO for that sort of future uncertainty. My guess is that just the rest of these bonuses aren't listed because they don't have to, and that's it. Where exactly does all that money go? Mozilla is a billion-dollar corporation where, while their flagstar product is in Firefox web browser. The software development needs of Firefox, including manpower, services, and other expenses, do not fully utilize the massive revenue of Mozilla, not by a long shot. Which begs the question, what is all of that money being spent on? Okay, I like this. This is where we go. Oh no. Here's the short sampling based on the available public documentation of exactly how much money is being spent and where. Mackenzie's Mac Group, East 53rd Street, Chicago. It's always in Chicago. $387,000. During 2021, they paid this much money to someone called Mackenzie Mac Group. Mackenzie Mac Group is a change management firm redefining innovation in the white dominant change management industry. From their LinkedIn page, Mackenzie Mac Group describes itself as Black-led, non-binary-led MMG is a global social justice organization. Mackenzie Mack is a public speaker who regularly discusses her anger at white colonialism and her dislike of cis men and women. The Mackenzie Mack Company website blog primarily discusses abortion and trans-related issues. Why would a company of developers, that develops web browsers want to pay her close to $500,000 in 1 year? That remains unclear. It is, however, worth noting that this is a far larger expense than any of the executive team of Mozilla earned their salary, other than the CEO. Oh yeah, that is kind of funny. That none of the other people earn as much as the Mackenzie Group. They're running the company. They don't even get to earn as much. Ooh, got him. Okay. Let's see. Wow. Okay. Action Research Collaborative. Action Research Collaborative. Okay. Here's this one. $100,000 was paid to the organization listed as Action Research Collaborative. By the way, just for everyone kind of watching and listening to this, $387,000, $100,000. Those are the two big ticket items. They still made $600 million here. So we're talking less than, that's like, we're not even at 0.1% of their money they made last year. Okay, so are these big ticket items? Not likely. There's way easier ways to launder money, especially 0.1%. Right. So right now I'm not like super. This isn't like the craziest thing I've said, but I'm willing. OK, I'm just trying to be objective here. I'm trying to read this, being objective. Just let me try. OK, I'm trying my best. OK, I'm trying my best. These are surprising. Let's see. Hold on. 100,000. Let's see. What exactly is Action Research Collaborative? That is a surprisingly difficult question to find an answer to, as they have no website whatsoever. Yeah, that always looks like just straight money laundering. That just. But what would they do laundering $100,000? They have a magic search engine that makes a bunch of money. That seems like a way easier one. What are you going to have some crazy auditor come in and look at all of your traffic? Well, actually, I don't see. I don't see definitely not cartel.com being used as a search engine, right? I don't see any of that. Anyways, how many Abram tanks? Let's see. One of the few references to it is the Cornell newsletter from earlier this year, where one of the founders states that Action Research Collaborative is a standing institutional home that can support action research projects that bring together researchers, community members, and policymakers to be able to work together and address pressing issues as they arise. That is literally not even an idea. Did you guys just read that? It's like, ChatGPT, can I please have a sentence that contains 50 words that means nothing about today's activities? They support research, action, togetherness, researching, community members, policymakers, researching, pressing issues as they arise. Okay, which doesn't really tell you much of anything. No product or project, no client, no website, no nothing. The founder, Neil Lewis Jr., appears to have focused his career on vaccine acceptance, problems with white people, and his theory that white people can not be victims of discrimination. Man, I was not prepared for this. Like I said, I read this article fully knowing I have no idea what's about to happen. What does this Action Research Collaborative actually do? Why would Mozilla need their services to be willing to pay $100,000 for it? This remains entirely unknown. It does seem just strange, like, right? Given that they don't have given that they have no website and their direction literally means nothing. What do you like? How do I get paid $100,000? I could come up with some just bizarre ass platitudes. I want this. I don't even need to make a website. I could make a website in OCaml and HTMX. Does that mean I get $300,000? Dude, this is really weird. I mean, it is just weird in the sense that what is happening here? While the Lunduk Journal does not like to delve too deeply into political woods, trademark, it should be questioned why so much money, possibly millions of dollars, donated by individuals who thought they were supporting a web browser. I mean, this makes sense. If you thought you were supporting a web browser and it turns out your donations literally mean nothing, like literally, less than, 1% of their total budget, in which is clearly completely blown out, is being funneled into highly political organizations that have no involvement in the World Wide Web, web browser, or any related standards. Yeah, I think I'd be pretty bothered. Like, I'd be less bothered if it went to like W3. You're like, okay, they're trying to make the World Wide Web a better place. All right, discretionary spending, $30,000 to MC Technical Incorporated in 2021. Who are they? Well, they don't have a website, that's for sure. The business registry listing is about the only thing of the company that seems to exist. The listed address is someone's house. How does a mostly non-existent company with no online presence at all, no website, social media, reviews, etc., get paid $30,000 in discretionary money from Mozilla? Baby, there's a love child. That's a love child. That, my friends, is a love child. That is the keep your mouth shut love child right there. Guaranteed. That's hush money. This is, if there's ever been hush money in my lifetime, this is hush money. This is hush money. Somebody has a photo of something going on, okay? Mr. CEO with $5.8 million a year in revenue has something that people don't want to find out because it just goes to someone's house. That's just straight up weird. Yep. Okay, new venture fund. All right, dude, am I going to get canceled for even reading this? Real talk. One in the chat, am I going to get in trouble for just reading this? Even Pick is like, absolutely. I mean, this is a while. Let's see, hold on. You just got canceled for saying baby money before it was fine. Yeah. Okay. If this is cancelable, I want to be canceled. Let's keep going though. We're going to get canceled. But hey, this is pretty cool. All right, so new venture fund. All right, that sounds like just venture fund. Another discretionary spending of $375,000. That's more than any of the the leadership suite other than the CEO. And then there's $375,000 in discretionary spending given to New Venture Fund. According to Influence Watch, New Venture Fund (NVF) is a 501(c) funding and fiscal sponsorship nonprofit that makes grants to left-of-center advocacy and organization projects and provide incubation services for other left-of-center organizations. The fund focuses primarily on social and environmental change. Okay, so I guess this is like a PAC, right? A super PAC of some sort, some sort of. Whatever. All right. Mozilla, the developer of Firefox, gave $375,000 fund that specifically exists to provide money and services for political organizations of one particular alignment. It's weird that there could be a fund that funds a fund. It's just crazy. I mean, personally, I just think it's crazy. Just all of this in the sense that there are people giving. They're asking for donations while making a lot of money. That to me just seems right. Like for me, like even all this political stuff, am I necessarily surprised? I'm not that surprised, right? Companies give all the time to this kind of stuff. Is that super surprising? No. But to say that you need to operate off of donations, pulling on the heartstrings of people, putting this really nice image of people working together and learning, and oh my gosh, look at this little kid learning JavaScript for the first time. Oh man, we're so happy he's going to have early childhood depression from learning JavaScript, right? Like you're looking at all this happening right here, and then it's actually completely just fake, right? To me, that's like 10 times more upsetting than the rest of all this stuff I'm reading right here. Like none of this is, I'm not surprised at all by this stuff, right? Right, I'm not surprised by any of this stuff so far. So many questions. The deeper we dig into Mozilla and their financials, the more questions come up. Why does Mozilla give so much money to political speakers that have no relationship to their core business? I mean, that's fair. Why does a company do that? That's a fair question. Because usually you're doing... Anytime I see a company do something, it's because they have an agenda, right? A company is out to make more money. So why is it giving to anything other than lobbying, right? That's always usually what people think, is that there's some reason why they give money. It's because they're appealing to somebody, right? It's a company. Companies make money. That's what companies do. And so if you think there's some other reason, I'd be surprised for the most part. Why does Mozilla seem unconcerned with alienating a large portion of their user base? Why do some of the recipients of Mozilla money appear to be nothing more than an empty shell companies without even having a simple website? Yeah, I mean, this is a great point right here. This is the point we should be focusing on, which is why are all these things being given out and just going to someone's house? Why does Mozilla continue to take donations if it doesn't need them? And pulling on the heartstrings, right? They're acting like they need them. Where does Mozilla spend these donation dollars? Do they go to the strange discretionary spending or political organizations, or do they go for development? Now, if they went straight for development, that's better. We would all agree if they went straight for development, then I'd have less of a problem with it. But I'm still just very questioning, like, why would anyone just start asking for donations? With 70% reliance on Google, a competitor for revenue, why is Mozilla spending money on projects that have no goal of being profitable and have no relationship to the core business? What happens when Google funding goes away? Mozilla appears certain that it never will, based on their spending. Why is that? Well, I mean, I would say based on their spending, it doesn't seem like it. It seems very much so like it, right? They've been gathering money over the years. They have 3 years worth of runway. They've been reducing their expenses. To me, that seems like they're making the attempt of making themselves less reliant on Google. That's how I read their expenses. And their discretionary spending and all that is $1 million of $600 million, 0.16%. Is this crazy? I don't think it's that crazy. Probably just some basic tax offsetting and potentially hush money. Probably hush money. Let's be real. It's going to be hush money. What happens when the Google funding goes away? Okay, yeah. Why is Mozilla decreasing software development funding when development of Firefox is the cash cow? And that is literally the tip of the iceberg. All right, the Lunduk Journal sent out numerous questions and requests for comments from organizations listed here, among many others, to find answers. Will they be coming forth? It will be interesting to see. Update. To date, no request for clarification has been made. That's pretty wild. I mean, I think overall, my big takeaway here is still just this, right? My big takeaway is this appearance of needing donations when they're making hand over fist money from Google. And it's not like they're going in the hole, right? They're not hyper negative. They're not like not making money, therefore they need this plus something else, right? Anyways, it seems kind of strange. This is good journalism. That was really good. It's really good because it just seems super strange. They should invest into the browser. You'd think they'd invest into the browser, a search engine of their own, because obviously it makes enough. They make enough money from Google to start their own ad business, right? But ads are obviously really, really hard to sell, so I totally get that. I totally understand why people don't do search engines. Not a simple thing. As Mozilla business model is bad. Well, they obviously make a lot of money. Whatever their business model is, they make a ton of money. Firefox can just adopt the WebKit or Chrome engine and save a lot more money. Fair. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things they could do. Yeah, it's not sustainable. Well, right now it is technically sustainable. By all objective measures, it's currently sustainable with how much they're making. The problem is they rely on a singular client, right? So when you rely on a singular client, if that client goes away, you're no longer sustainable. So Google contains all the power in the relationship. They can just simply go down. That's that. Yeah, the problem is they're at really the sole goodwill of Google. What happens if Google just says, no, thank you? Somewhat dishonest to pool all of Amazon into one pile and then make the arguments from there. Yeah, I mean, I don't really know what Mozilla does other than Firefox and Rust, right? That's all I know of Mozilla. Oh, Thunderbird. You're right, Thunderbird. I've heard of Thunderbird. I've heard of Thunderbird. Yep. My bad. Might be they have a VPN service. Okay, but their VPN service didn't really. I mean, I guess it did show up as one of the larger ones, right? So it was. I mean, they kind of pulled it all together. I'm trying to have as realistic of a take I can from this article, which is they're not spending that much on political stuff. Is it surprising? I'm sure if you looked at any company at all, you would see it, right? You would absolutely see donations, right, to all sorts of different things. And every company is getting, every person goes over every company and tries to cancel them based on their donations. So do you see this all the time? Absolutely. Do I think it's a good move? I think it's probably best as a company just to avoid the whole situation, but it seems like there's probably reasons why they're doing it that we just don't understand. The big one is the donations, and then that $35,000 to just some person's address, or $30,000 a year to someone's address. I mean, that just sounds like hush money, right? Like, that just straight up sounds crazy. This one. It's just some place with no anything. There's just money. Call in the stock guy to collab on this one. I know we should. I'd actually like to talk to him on this one because I think he has a lot of interesting takes probably on this one. But it's bizarre. Minimally, this is bizarre. This is probably the most bizarre line of the whole application. Could these be speaker fees? They could be. They could very well be speaker fees. That's actually a great point. I mean, to attribute everything to malice is usually silly. You just don't have the the understanding. Hold on, I got to see what you're saying. I used to work for Mozilla in Germany, building a search engine competitor to Google, and it was pretty much pressured by Google to stop that. The search engine went on to be Brave Search now. Brave's making moves. Brave actually did something really smart. They made the first, this is going to be the hottest take I've ever had. The only cryptocurrency I've seen that has any form of anything was Brave's. And what I mean by Brave is that they tied a currency to advertising, and then when you use their browser and get advertised to, you get some of that same money. So it's like it's directly tied to money. And I thought it was like a pretty good idea. Brave makes funny ads, they make funny ads. I thought it was like a pretty good idea. Like, out of all cryptocurrency I've seen, which all of it is usually pretty stupid, right? When people are like, Bitcoin's a value store. And I'm like, yeah, for a value store to have something, there has to be value, right? You are a value store of perception, which is the craziest form of value ever, okay? You can't, why are you saying this, right? But BAT at least has, it has a real thing, right? It's directly tied to a real asset, which I thought was really smart, right? Monero's interesting, at least. It's private sending, right? It's all very, very private. You can't trace anything. Is that good? Is that bad? Have they already figured out a way to trace it? Probably. I mean, the government cracked a Tor network in like no time. So have they figured out things to do with it? Probably. Real talk, they've probably figured out all sorts of stuff. I don't know. Anyways, the name is the Primogen.